Welcome back. This is going to be episode 15 of the continuing saga of the Vrinn Imperium. The Vrinn are a race of space dwarves who are authoritarian and fanatic materialists, also mechanists, and have efficient and Byzantine bureaucrats, as well as being a technocracy. The overall build has been to try to spread as much population across as many worlds as possible, as well as building as many robots to fill out our workforce as possible. At the same time, we recently have restored some discovered alien intelligences to a second race of robots within our regime, the Awoken, as well as took over a habitat that had some primitive caretakers on it. We are in the southernmost area of a large 1,000-system ring galaxy, and are currently one of the most powerful nations in the current galaxy. Most of our neighbors are correspondingly weaker than us in both technology, economy, and military. Our most competitive empire are the Stellaris databank, who we have just gotten into hostilities with and are at war over our claim on the Theram system. And we have been moving most of our military forces into that region. Showing unspent trait points. Let me just take a look. All of our robots should be fully equipped. We have no pops with any trait points to spend. So that message is just a little wonky. We do have an energy deficit running in our colony, but our significant mineral overage tends to balance that out because we are able to sell large batches of minerals every so often. We did overrun our naval capacity just a little bit, preparing for sending ships into combat with the machines. I assume a few losses will balance that out, but we're also going to try to build and accommodate the need for controlling them. I'm going to lower the audio just a little bit more, as it's kind of distracting to me. So I imagine it's distracting on the recording. Okay, so we have a number of colonies. Vrinn, Wateriax 1, Wateriax Prime with Really Prime were our originals. A number of these others are terraformed extended colonies on the frontier that we have occupied, as well as we're currently terraforming several colonies in addition. We have the availability of a few other possible terraforming candidates, or we could just go ahead and occupy them at 91% habitability. I'm not sure it's worth the couple-year wait. We've been extending into the northwest region here, around the core of the galaxy. There were a race of mercenaries here, the Magar freebooters, who we recently dispatched, and have cleared out our opportunity really to capture the rest of this system and have a nanite interdictor positioned in Briscoe to try to choke that portion of the galaxy and keep it under our control. Our other two neighbors to the west are the Estoon Remnant and the Haruni Progenitors, both fallen empires who are still a fair bit more powerful than us, and we've been trying to avoid contact or hostilities with. And the Zelvin Corporate Holdings and the Holy Vrinn Covenant are both now protectorates who have, I would imagine, they would be giving themselves over to our galactic dominance. With that said, we're going to unpause and keep moving. Our technology is evolving at a pretty fast rate. Okay, state at the ROM, I don't think is going to be an exceeding issue for us. Preliminary observation has identified the object as a large kinetic artillery round apparently shot at the planet in the distant past. Evidently, some ship launched it from high orbit, causing it to penetrate about 50 meters of ice before stopping. The technology that allowed the object to survive the impact might prove to be useful. We can issue a special project or gain 40 influence. We'll go
Situation log updated.
And add that. Alright, we have a few buildings that we can add, but we also have upgrades we can make. We're going to go ahead and do so where possible. Loches is a forge world. We don't really need much here besides growth. There's no features to continue to clear. I think similarly to what we did with several colonies and adding administrative offices, we are going to add some military academies to help buff our naval capacity. An administrative office here, for instance. I'm going to add some more city districts to open up more building queues on these planets. Going to keep our options upgrading if possible. No specialists. We also have this system of Grunar Prime, which was a precursor system. 3 planets, all with precursor artifacts on them, or traits. Awfully hard to click on these without hitting the star because of how giant it is and how close they made the planets. The only planet we have yet to occupy is Grunar 5A, which we could terraform, or we are terraforming, but it's going to take another good bit of time, almost 10 years. All right. We also have moved our fleets into the machine's territory and are currently bombarding Locus, which has 13% devastation. We don't really have any invasion fleets prepared. We have one early army we use that I'm going to move forward to Tvikliat. We also have 2 systems in Tvikliat. going to recruit kind of like the idea of sending the xenomorphs. So we're going to recruit 4 xenomorphs. Could have sworn we had a second system. I'm thinking of this planet that we have yet to colonize. Have a colony ship shooting that? We do not. So into Haram. Gonna start an Ultra Vrinn colony ship. Using a mod pack of about 30 mods. It's in the about on the channel, or if you're watching this later on, it's in the description of the video, and it leads to the Steam collection. I'm running 3.12 because this playthrough was started before the latest patch came out.
Technology secured.
And I'm interested in finishing it before running into any problems with mod compatibility. Also wanted to give time to allow for any of the necessary mods to also be updated to get into sync with what we're running, what we would be running on 3.2. So we got our bump to naval capacity off the bat there, which should give us some advantage. We're moving our largest fleet, which is the first expeditionary fleet, into combat. We have our second expeditionary fleet. It's returned from being vanquished. We're going to move it to Etravipe Station for repairs. As part of that precursor system, we also have restored a precursor shipyard there, and can turn out a quantity of ships fairly quickly. Some kind of burrowing silicon-based life form inhabits a vast network of tunnels beneath the barren surface of Barbon 2. As best we can tell, the creatures feed off rocks, and there is evidence to suggest that they possess a rudimentary form of intelligence. Their tunneling efforts have shuffled large amounts of valuable minerals to the surface. It's making Barbon look potentially like a valuable node to add to our galactic network. We are going to bomb Tharam. Repair that fleet.
Construction complete.
This is another expeditionary force that we put together at the mega shipyard. We've been using our construction ships to continue to expand, and are building resource collection wherever possible thereafter. Right. They're unhappy with us. Ooh. Okay. They do not want us to have Barban. That's okay. Little waste of influence. After several months of living on Gruner Prime, the colonists noticed something odd about the surrounding environment. Species seemed to drastically change from one month to the next. On the order of the colony's administration, a quick study was performed. It revealed that native flora and fauna possess incredibly fast evolutionary processes. It appears that all species on this world share shorter than average life cycles, along with rapid sexual and asexual reproduction, which means that their evolutionary cycle is significantly faster than normal. As a result, the natural environment of this planet is in a constant state of flux. On the one hand, the repeatedly adapting local biosphere prevents the colonists from ever truly fitting in. Nothing with an ordinary evolutionary cycle could. On the other, studying the constant evolution and rapid breeding of the local animals could lead to advancements in farming and evolutionary science. Either way, the biosphere of the planet is too complicated to change on this sort of scale. The colonists are saddled with this for good or ill. We lose a bump of habitability and gain food and society research buffs. I think we'll survive it. Having a little fine coffee. I think at one point I can say confidently that I may have discovered the secret to quality brewing at home, which is a very pricey drip coffee maker. This specifically the one I use is the Precision Brewer from Breville. It simulates sort of a pour-over approach to things, and combined with really cheap Pignon coffee from Costco.
Special project complete.
That you get for 2.5 pounds for $8 or $10 maybe, and the combination of the two, burnt just right and cooked on their gold setting, comes out super nutty and tasty and good. Upon recovery and examination, it seems that the high caliber of this round is the most notable feature. It suggests certain solutions to weapon technology that might open up new possibilities for extra heavy weaponry. We've already mastered that technology. No help. Excavate the site. These active pings are, I believe, habitat building options, which I have yet to build habitats, and I'm not sure, besides the fact that we have quite a long time before we'll ever build up 300 influence based on our pace of expansion, that I am not clear as to the value of the same. Alright, we are building the Death Flock. A number of individuals belonging to the pre-sapient native population of the abandoned habitat somehow got into a secure compound on the outskirts of our colony. They were chased off within hours, but not before severely damaging several interstellar uplinks dedicated to currency transfers. We fear several hundred credits may have been lost in the ether. Clear that we shouldn't just purge these folks, particularly because they look like the Magar freebooters who we got into our initial conflicts with. But we'll leave them around for the moment. I'm going to move our second fleet in to take over the bombing on Thram 3. And then we're going to move our main fleet forward into the fray. We could be using some other planets to build invasion forces, but they're all fairly far out, and the flight to Vikliat would likely not gain us much on the overall.
Construction complete.
Alright, we were building shipyards in the last episode with the intention of adding black hole observatories. In addition, we're going to add, I think, anchorages to up our naval capacity, and it's got some don't really have much trade to take advantage of. It will generate us some bay for defensive purposes. And then secondarily, we have another ship in Devil's Maw, to which we're going to do the same modifications. Is there any trade value to take advantage of that we have not? Locally in these two systems. Looks like the Takaris databank are moving ships through Burst and into Shuri. Expeditionary fleet has cut this one off in sea a hurry, and it's gonna get ugly. Battleship
attacking enemy assets.
Destroyer. I don't know, we're gonna get tangled. We'll take the system and we can chase down the fleets. Where are they jumping towards? Comb. I don't think it's going to go well for them. 4K, 29K. We're going to move the battleship group up to this choke point. We're going to keep the second force bombing Theram 3.
Spaceport under attack. Sphere of influence expanded.
We've finished our colony on Gruner Prime. We're going to start it off with what has been our standard initial kickoff, which is a robot assembly plant, an energy grid, and gene clinics, so that we can get some juice and get to growing. And unlock the Titan class ships.
Star system charted.
We're going to destroy that destroyer. Not sure that our starship might not be able to defend itself entirely. That's not going to be necessary. Take out that fortress. Something that was not mentioned early on is that we also took the L-Gate systems here, and the Dracaris database do have a jump point into here, but our defenses should be pretty strong. 20k in the system. I think we should be able to hold them off overall. Around. Senate is now in session. We do hold the most weight in the session. Military Readiness Act. 10% ship upkeep bump isn't the greatest, but we'll gain more diplomatic weight from the fleet power that we have, which is quite high. We'll take another bump in naval capacity. The archaeological dig on Mang 6. Slowly but sure, we've cleared away our initial excavation site and base camp, with the roof of the building occupying the center. Every step and grab has to be very carefully measured to avoid collapse and injury as we go further. As it stands, we can see a landing pad for a small transport and a shack, which seems to have served as a waiting area for pilot lounge. And importantly, we've discovered our first artifacts, a snacks and drinks. Man, I'm having trouble reading. A snack and drinks vending machine may not seem like much, but one so perfectly preserved and gently extracted, such as we have found, has sparked the public's imagination over what could be further down, and has given us an idea of the general diet of the people that occupied it. What was initially considered a dead and boring wreck of a world now warrants much more attention. Continuing to dig. Let's see, we got unemployment on Gruner 3. There's 4 workers. Got a nice bump in mining. We're going to add a mining district and we're going to bump it up in terms of benevolence. We need housing too. How do we get so many people on here that quick? We don't have the influence likely to resettle them all. We can resettle. We can't get rid of all of them. So let's take a quick look. Who else needs workers? Barista needs workers. That would give us a bump to energy. I need specialists. Bazkarat needs a bunch of workers, but this is our Woken colony. Why are we growing that guy? Who are you? Kind of don't want them to have any real pops or even allow migration. Could probably cut it off. I think I want to keep our Dwarven bloodlines pure. Right, I'm going to send 2 to Barista. Send 2 to Nikor Prime. Make them happy. Also give us some energy production. To keep our... we can't build what I want to build until we have upgraded our ship shelter. So we're going to add alloy production. Same on Nikor. Little feedback from Homes by Jackie Jones. Is that better, BB? Any better? Yes? No? Maybe? Particularly observant operative in the Kroll Commerce Guild has laid their hands on part of a Kroll encryption key. It would be seen careless. Kroll administrator mislaid the device while commuting. This bodes well enough for our operations in the Kroll Commerce Guild, but our study of the device's unique design has revealed novel insights to our general approach to code breaking. Okay, back to the front. Lingering distrust on Bernie Prime. Some years have passed and the protests of Yura Nakater's arrest have died down. However, her memory of how she was torn from Bernie Prime remains and has been written into Bernie Prime's folklore as a cause for much bitterness. It is unlikely that the inhabitants will ever come to fully trust the parent state. Yeah, we had a upstart that we jailed, and Bernie is not particularly happy with us about it, but The Empire persists. Our dig on Mang 6. We've worked our way downwards through the rooftop stair access, which we found to be remarkably clear of major debris, to what seems most likely to be a sky lodge. Rotten but discernible furniture is scattered around, as well as the mummified remains of various individuals, many clustered around the building's elevator bank. Apparently finding themselves unable to descend, we've found unopened bottles of various libations almost immaculately preserved. It would appear the windows of this building were able to handle the combined force of an incredible amount of soil directed towards its window from the surrounding explosive blast, because the glass, if it can be called that, has not a single crack. In one area, the melted hulk of what we think is a vehicle is pressed up against the large window, but has caused only exterior scratching. Some crews have been sent away from the site to try to obtain samples of this material to determine its composition, but so far it seems to be unique to the tower. The next step will be to see if the elevator shaft is usable as a platform for making our way further down, as the internal concrete staircase seems too heavily decayed at this time for further safe traversal. Keep digging. Have an unemployed worker on Vrinn. We'll send them. I want to get to 10 population so that we can get Nikor upgraded. So we're going to send them Nikor.
Technology secured.
We use a bump from energy credits just because of our deficits. We're going to recruit 4 more armies of Xenomorph. The first expeditionary fleet has taken Kernel. And if you don't mind, since it's a happy Saturday here, I'm going to have a bit of tobacco. And we're going to go ahead and bomb Kernel. Check our other systems. We're at 67% devastation on the planet of Locus. And 30%, 37%, but we're using a much smaller fleet on Thram. We've moved our battleships into Serhuri. We're going to move them forward to Burrs, which shouldn't be an issue. You would think that the machines would be enjoying this less, because we have
Construction complete.
been fairly much kicking their butts. The interested to see if we get some feedback from the Hruni progenitors on occupying Wendell. It seems like they're not going to, like the Yastun remnant kicked us out of Barbon. Just take a quick browse. We got a bunch of construction ships just kind of sitting around. The majority of them are waiting on the influence necessary to perform their next actions. Colony ship should be in Behram. Move them to Vikliat. Colonize that large habitable Gaia world. Might as well take this system. So there's 4 carriers and 4 of our larger cannon-based Giga Cannon battleships. Scientist Ayashna Kippur on board the science vessel ISS Raltax has made another interesting discovery. Another world with above average core temperature. The tectonic plates on this world seem very stable. That is probably thanks to a few very large volcanoes that regularly release pressure that builds up beneath the plates. Further study will be required to see how the liquid mantle on such hot core planets interacts with the dense metal center. Our battleship group has arrived in Burrs. On Wendell 3, our observation outpost over Wendell 3 has reported witnessing a massive explosion today. They were concerned that the natives are about to wipe themselves out with nuclear weapons, but it's become clear that this was an isolated incident. Seemingly a few radicals stole a powerful nuclear device from the military and used it to destroy one of the population centers on the planet's surface. An event of such proportions will definitely change the history of the Panelec civilization. Maxed out on minerals. We go ahead and sell 10,000. We have a free tradition. We're to finish out the Harmony chain. And our 4th Expeditionary Fleet.
Construction complete.
Also taking Ziff. And we're devastating the Kernel colony. Locus is nearly completely bombed.
Technology secured.
We now have access to the Titan. I think we'll take a Titan hull points as well. Take a look at our ship designer and our Titan class ship. Has no changes. And our automatic loadout are neutron launchers and the perdition beam. Huh. If I clear and auto-complete this, I end up with the same thing. Just gonna try rigging this with a combination of Gauss cannons, gamma lasers. Came out to 525. $550. All right. Interesting. I'll have to try one out. We'll do the auto build for now. Keep it up to date and see what we like or dislike about it. We're going to get one building and Etra Vipe when it's done bumping up to a citadel. Upon arriving at what was probably once the ground floor of the skyscraper, we ran into two intriguing circumstances. Firstly, the elevators are still here and locked to the floor below it, preventing us from exploring any further. Also, there seems to be some kind of shield extended over what's left of the staircases, including the emergency exit staircase. Secondly, well below the elevators and towards the basement levels, we have started to pick up power signatures. The next step will be getting below these elevators. Keep digging. Like there is any way of him really defending himself from us. We're going to move our mothership in. That was a nanite mothership that we acquired from the Elgate exploration. Looks like we have 8 available transport ships. That would be 1 Ultra Vrinn and 8 Xenomorphs. And we're building one last Xenomorph army. We'll wait for that. Then we'll start invading some of these colonies. I think Locust should almost be devastated. Responding to some colony needs and growth in terms of upgrades and housing.
Construction complete.
It was decided that the best way to get past the elevators was to use brute force. Special neutron demolitions were placed on the brakes and the cables, and then the building was completely cleared of all personnel. We hit the detonator, and aside from some minor creaking, our learned assumptions about the building's incredible structural soundness and strength proved well-founded. The cars smashed into the bottoms of their shafts, leaving us a clear path down to the basements. Upon arriving, we spent a full week cutting holes through both the outer blast doors and only slightly less strong interior doors. What we found is nothing short of amazing, and an almost perfectly preserved bunker with nuclear generators in standby mode. Careful activation of these allowed us to check the rather primitive computers to confirm our initial suspicions about this place. The entire building was originally constructed as a fortress for this society's wealthy and powerful elites. Furthermore, it was constructed with the goal in mind that the workers on the floors above would not know what this was used for. Indeed, the blast door was hidden behind a large mural adjacent to the basement's lounge lobby. The whole building was used as a command and control center once the dust had settled, but this obviously did not come to pass. The corpses we have found down here are dated somewhat later than the ones on the upper floors, indicating that they were able to survive for a time until they ran out of food supplies, at which point they suffered a similar fate to their supposed inferiors above. We can only guess that the apocalypse this planet suffered was so utterly complete and unexpected that the outside environment's toxicity and the complete burial of this central business district were not factored into their long-term plans. As it stands, these people built themselves a slow brew and a very luxurious tomb. Joyce.
Construction complete.
There's not a ton nearby to investigate. We're going to move her up to there to excavate the next site, or him, Besh. Our 2 citadels have finished upgrading. We're going to add Titan assembly yards to both of them. So, go ahead and colonize that planet. Our transport ships should be almost ready. 21
Star
days.
system charted.
Okay, so
Colonization in progress.
actually think that the most valuable remaining planet around there is that one. That we're going to build an outpost in Reganus. Alright, let's see. Locus is almost fully destroyed. Ziff is nearly fully destroyed. I think we're gonna open it up.
Construction complete.
So I feel like the sound's a little too much. We are now collecting dark matter from those black holes. Our transports are going to arrive in Therum.
Technology secured. Construction complete.
Another bump in naval capacity.
Technology secured.
They've reached complete devastation there. I'm going to move them forward to Kernel. They moved Canera into what I believe is their capital system. Running this alloy buff, and I think we're going to continue to do so. Real tech alloy production. Have more than enough to do so. There's nothing to take here. There's anything to take in comm. One of our survey ships has wandered into the location of some space amoeba. Hopefully they shall survive. And the first expeditionary fleet is moving into the machine's capital system.
Attacking enemy vessels.
He hasn't done that much to protect himself.
Technology secured.
Maxed out on minerals again. We'll sell 20,000 this time, just to give ourselves a little more space until we have to pay attention to it again. I'm going to buff energy weapon damage, because a lot of our fleet is energy weapon based. sure where, if any, military was. I think we broke them early and often. Actually, what? That just seems strange. I suppose for like, your own mini version of the mega shipyard. But that just seems downright strange. Strange. We're running out of housing. We're going to add another city district. Let's take a look through what we got. It's been a little bit since we kind of did the full pass. We have a ton of free housing. On the capital to no avail. We can't grow any further. Nothing left to clear. Upgrade hyper entertainment forms on Water Axe 1. It's really nothing in particular to do. Nuggin. We can upgrade the building. Have quite a few districts to work with here. I think we're going to have a pendant industrial district to keep our alloy production moving upwards. Create the administrative park. Teglon's adding a city district. We're going to do the same thing on Bernie. To Vicliot. Needs housing. Basically running through, taking care of any immediate needs and adding upgrades over the course. I'm going to add an administrative office based on that buff from the precursor capital complex.
Star system charted.
Right, the 3rd Expeditionary Fleet. I think it's going to move up to Zorf to meet the 4th and turn into a mob stack, similar to our 1st Expeditionary Fleet, who is now bombing the machine capital. Battleships have entered Zorf.
Technology secured.
Don't think there's much of a chance that's going to work out for them. Gonna update our Titans again. Milv, son of Baga from the Racket Industrial Enterprise. Do you like alloys? Do you like metals and gases, hard workers, precious minerals? Yes, we thought you might. What can you offer us? We have a special offer, inimitable technology only developed by the Racket Industrial Enterprise. Do you have trouble penetrating the defensive grids of planets? We can show you a way. Very technical, very advanced, of improved bombardment. We call it the Orbital Trash Disperser. Give us 1,000 energy credits and we will show you the method, and you will have the component to add to your ships. Sure.
Technology secured.
So now we have the component Orbital Trash Disperser. Orbital bombardment management system spans the planet with millions of minute high-velocity projectiles, overwhelming planet-side defensive grids with trash data. Ships equipped with this component will cause more damage during orbital bombardment. Okay. Thanks. Rats. I'm going to merge these two fleets. And then move them into Kazabus. Land our armies on Locust. Unleash the xenomorphs.
Planetary invasion commenced. Ground invasion force has seized a planet.
Xenomorphs have overwhelmed the machines. Next, we are going to move them to Kernel. Not sure what exactly the AI was doing with transport ships on top of transport ships, but nothing to really defend themselves from us with. How do they not want to give up?
Planetary invasion commenced.
Got a debuff of minerals on Tavikliat Prime for 10 years. Unfortunate.
Ground invasion force has seized a planet.
We really should have a general running these guys. It's kind of an oversight. appears that a mischievous third party was able to hack into the translation software of the Vrinn envoy to Vrinn Imperium, so that instead of uttering magnanimous platitudes, he began spewing vicious insults that left none unscathed. The malfunction in his equipment was duly uncovered, but not before Primus Tono Natukan was declared to be a vile beast, a grave insult which surely calls for a response. Sounds funny. Try to juice the audio up just a little bit. Looking at my levels, they look a little low.
Star system charted.
See if that still feels all right. In the Yoballerster dig, it appears that a passageway descending towards the underground chamber has suffered some mishap in the past. A cave-in has filled the lower part of the shaft with boulders and dust, in turn making excavation venture slow and frustrating. Free worker. I'm gonna send them to Gruner Prime. I am not clear on how exactly it is that we are both devastating and invading all of their colonies, and they're only a little bit more unhappy with the way the war is going than we are. The death block has arrived. Well, that was quick. Now occupied their capital. So we're going to take the first expeditionary fleet and move them forward to Beredigan. We're going to move and land our armies on Sinisar. They have a small amount of defenses, and they're only about half devastated at this point, but we'll continue to work that out. We also have Sinisar that we will need to circle back to. We found a terraformable hothouse world in Frere.
Construction complete.
Both the Hyzar and Etravipe star bases have finished building. Support for building Titan ships. And we're going to build our first two. Following a long period of growing support for the Council of Metaphysical Cleansing, the Mesh Ben tribes has finally embraced the faction, adopting their core values. As a result, bringing this faction into their government, they have become more outwardly spiritualist. The Mesh Ben tribes are a tiny little empire up in the corner.
Ground invasion force has seized a planet.
We have taken Sinisar. I'm going to move our Grand Invasion Force back to Sinisar and land our armies there. We're going to move forward into Garam. Our first expeditionary fleet is going to take the system of Bardigan. Gunpowder has been discovered by the primitive alien civilization on Siet 1. This has revolutionized warfare with large cannons, rendering many of their citadels obsolete. The use of explosives has also benefited many engineering projects, as troublesome obstacles can now be more easily removed. Even now, their chemists are experimenting with new creative applications for this invention. Looks like I'm dropping a bit of bandwidth.
Sphere of influence expanded. Technology secure.
We've taken Tivicliat Secundus. We're going to add our starting suite of robot assembly plants, an energy grid, and some gene clinics. Back at Yelbarista, while clearing away rubble and rocks, a peculiar discovery was made. An alien tool that most closely resembled a common pickaxe was found crushed between craggy rocks. If the mining technology retained by previous diggers was on par with that type of equipment, the previous digging of the shaft, a shaft hundreds of meters deep, shows a remarkable commitment. What is it in the depth that is worthy of such excursion? Thank you, Holmes by Jackie Jones. Appreciate the confirmation. It's always a work in progress. It's a grand experiment overall. So, you learn stuff. You try. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. We'll take Grunar. I mean, the fact that all of the systems have been occupied primarily by transport ships seems disappointing. The Takara's databank has admitted defeat. Thank you, machines. It's the best possible outcome. We have taken the system of Theram from them. We have successfully taken over another empire, and their vast collection of resources, cultural art, and relics are ready for the taking. Get a huge bump of energy, minerals, and alloys. Take it. We finished invading Senshore. The borders have opened with the Great Basharan Empire, which I don't believe I have met before. They look like some kind of mix between hammerhead sharks and what else would that be? Not sure. Like a rhino and a hammerhead shark? Maybe? Maybe. Alright, so the first war of the Vrinn Imperium has now completed. We have successfully invaded and beat into submission the Takaris databank. We destroyed a number of their facilities on their planets. We're going to pull back our ships to Etravipe. We've acquired a starbase in Theram, which we are going to probably re-rig. I think we are going to replace this with a shipyard. And then a hangar bay. Actually, we're just going to add the hangar bay here, along with a gun battery. We're going to change the resource silos to a target uplink computer. Then we're going to upgrade the starbase overall. We're going to add another bump to naval capacity. So we're moving our fleets back. After a successful war against Takaris. And in the process, we have acquired Theram. Somewhat devastated, somewhat unhappy with us. It has Andorans. Adenorans, who are anteater type creatures. I think we're going to add precinct houses, and then a robot assembly plant. They already had research and alloy foundries. We'll let that go for a bit. They look like they need amenities. We'll let those first two. We'll upgrade the planetary capital to give ourselves some more clerk jobs to produce some of that. Move forward into Nostia there. We'll wait for the necessary. So we really didn't get, I'd assume we would find some ship debris to take advantage of, but have yet to. So we have a lone science ship hanging out. I'm going to jump over to Chegamore and see if we can get some exploration in the edges of the galaxy in the outer ring there. All right, we're going to call it there. That's an hour and a half. That's the first war won. Well, the first war against another star empire, if you don't count the Magar. We should also be generating a colony ship to go and occupy this supercontinent world, which is our preference. But we'll get that going in the next episode. For now, we're going to call it. That is the capturing of Tharam. We should probably be seeing... They're also at war against the Kroll. Well, against the Heskerar League. Yeah. Or the Tycan Trading Consortium. Perhaps that's where their ships really were, because they certainly didn't show up to fight us. Well, regardless, success, a little bit more growth, a little bit more technology advancement. The Vrinn Imperium continues its path towards global domination. Thanks for watching. If you're watching it now, or if you're watching it later, thanks for watching it later. See you around.